What's the secret behind the anthem that gives football fans around the world chills? Today, we're diving into the UEFA Champions League.
Hey there, I'm Leah, totally excited for this one.
And I'm Garrett, ready to dig into some football history.
Welcome to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett.
Today's topic is the UEFA Champions League.
Okay, here we go from the top. Picture this: a cool night, a packed stadium, the giant starball flag rippling at midfield, and then that anthem swells. I was lucky enough to be at a Champions League match a few years back, and honestly, the anticipation felt like a collective heartbeat. I'm more used to orchestra halls with my cello, but this was its own kind of symphony. The match itself was electric. Kids in jerseys from 3 different countries sat near me, trading stickers and stats like seasoned analysts. After the final whistle, traffic was jammed, so I cut through a quiet corridor and almost walked straight into Zinedine Zidane. For anyone new here, Zidane is a legendary French midfielder and later a title-winning coach with Real Madrid. We just exchanged a quick hello. He was gracious. No selfie moment, just a kind nod. It felt like a reminder that the Champions League pulls the whole football world into one place.
That's pretty cool, right? You bumped into a living highlight reel. And that vibe you described, the mix of languages and jerseys, is the Champions League in a nutshell. Borders kind of fade for 90 minutes. I'm down for that.
Let's set the scene for what this thing is. The UEFA Champions League is Europe's top club competition, run by UEFA, which is the Union of European Football Associations. Think of it like a World Cup for clubs, except it happens every season and features the best teams from many European leagues rather than national teams.
It kicked off in 1955 as the European Champion Clubs Cup, usually just called the European Cup, and got rebranded as the Champions League in 1992. That rebrand brought in the anthem, a consistent visual identity, and a more polished presentation that scaled globally. Basically, they took something already exciting and made it appointment viewing worldwide.
Format-wise, it blends a league-style phase and then knockouts. Round robin means each team faces multiple opponents and collects points. Knockouts are home and away ties where the combined score decides who advances, and then there's a single-match final at a neutral stadium. It's designed to give variety early and high-stakes drama late.
Here's where the roots get fascinating. A journalist named Gabriel Hanout, editor at the French paper L'Équipe, pushed the idea of a pan-European club tournament after seeing successful cross-border events elsewhere. His colleague Jacques Ferrand helped champion the cause. They were basically early architects of the concept.
Before UEFA organized it, there were test runs of the idea. The Metropa Cup, launched in 1927 by Austrian official Hugo Meisel, brought top Central European clubs together. And earlier still, there were things like the Challenge Cup in the Austro-Hungarian Empire and the Coupe van der Straten Pontas that pitted champions from Belgium, the Netherlands, and Switzerland. Each of those introduced pieces of the cross-border puzzle.
There was also the 1930 Coupe des Nations in Geneva, organized by Servette. 10 national champions in one go, which was a serious signal that fans wanted this. Then the Latin Cup after World War II brought clubs from Spain, Portugal, France, and Italy. More evidence the appetite was there.
And the pop culture spark moment, if you will, came when Wolverhampton Wanderers beat Budapest Honvéd in a famous friendly in the 1950s. Wolves manager Stan Cullis called his team world champions. It triggered debate about needing an official tournament to settle such claims properly. That chatter added fuel to L'Équipe's push.
UEFA formalized the whole thing in 1955. The first ever European Cup match ended 3-3 between Sporting CP and Partizan, and Noel Baptista Martins scored the first goal in the competition's history. Then Real Madrid won the inaugural final in 1956, edging Stade de Reims 4-3 at the Parc des Princes. Instant drama from day one.
From there, it was liftoff. Real Madrid won the first 5 tournaments in a row. Names like Alfredo Di Stefano and Ferenc Puskás weren't just stars, they were earthquakes. That 1960 final at Hampden Park was 7-3 over Eintracht Frankfurt. Puskás scored 4, Di Stefano netted 3. It's still the highest scoring final ever.
Why did Madrid dominate so hard early on? I mean, was it just talent or timing too?
Both. The club assembled generational talent and adapted quickly to top-level continental play. And timing-wise, they set standards while others were still calibrating to the travel and intensity of cross-border knockouts. Momentum matters in sports. They built an aura.
After Madrid's first era, the trophy started to travel. Benfica won back-to-back in the early 1960s, with Eusebio lighting it up. AC Milan and Inter Milan brought it to Italy, and in 1967, Celtic, the Lisbon Lions, became the first British club to win it with a squad all born within roughly 30 miles of Glasgow. That's wild in today's global transfer market.
Manchester United followed in 1968, a powerful milestone a decade after the Munich air disaster. Then the 1970s swung to Dutch and German dominance. Ajax won 3 straight under Johan Cruyff, spreading total football, basically a fluid, interchangeable approach where players rotate roles. Bayern Munich matched that with 3 in a row from 1974 to 1976.
English clubs then took over from 1977 to 1981. Liverpool twice, Nottingham Forest twice, and then Liverpool again. Aston Villa added one in 1982. England had depth. Different clubs could reach the summit, which is pretty unique compared to nations where one giant hogs the spotlight.
Then came 1985 and the Heysel Stadium disaster at the final, which led to a 5-year ban on English clubs from European competitions. Liverpool got 6 years. It reshaped the landscape and prompted safety reforms. During that absence, Steaua Bucuresti, Porto, PSV Eindhoven, and later AC Milan collected titles, creating a more geographically varied set of winners for a bit.
Right after that period, Red Star Belgrade won in 1991. A group stage got added around then, and by 1992, the competition rebranded as the UEFA Champions League. They commissioned the anthem from Tony Britton, adapted from Handel's Zadok the Priest, performed in UEFA's 3 official languages, English, German, and French. Goosebumps became part of the format.
Here's another big structural turn. In 1997 to 98, UEFA started allowing multiple entrants per country based on association strength, measured by the UEFA coefficient, which is a ranking based on how clubs from that country perform in Europe. That kept more top teams in the mix from the strongest leagues.
And it changed the late-stage cast. Spain, England, Italy, and Germany began to dominate semifinals and finals more consistently. You still had outliers like Ajax in the mid-1990s and Porto in 2004, but since 1992, only 2 finalists have come from outside the so-called Big Five leagues. That concentration says a lot about resources and depth.
Real Madrid picked up a modern three-peat in 2016, 2017, and 2018, and with wins in 2014, 2022, and 2024, they have a record 15 titles across eras. Honestly, no one touches that total right now.
Meanwhile, there were other signature moments. Mid-2020 saw the competition paused, then completed at neutral sites without fans because of the pandemic. Bayern Munich went perfect that season, 11 wins in 11 matches. No other champion has pulled off a flawless run like that.
Recent champions mapped the balance of power. Chelsea in 2021, Real Madrid in 2022, Manchester City in 2023, and Real Madrid again in 2024. Then the format shifted again in 2024-25 to a 36-team league phase, with each team playing 8 different opponents, 4 at home and 4 away, with 24 teams advancing to the knockouts.
Those access tweaks also added European performance spots, which are extra places for associations whose clubs performed best across UEFA competitions the previous season. It's like a short-term bonus for collective success. Under that expanded setup, Paris Saint-Germain won in 2024-25 and then retained in 2025-26.
Let's unpack how teams even get in. Entry is mostly National League champions and top finishers, with stronger countries granted more slots because of their coefficient ranking. There are also qualifying rounds and a playoff path that start in early July, giving clubs from smaller leagues a route into the main field.
And there are perks for the winners too. The Champions League winner qualifies automatically for next season's Champions League, the UEFA Super Cup against the Europa League winner, and FIFA's global club competitions. So the title opens more doors and more silverware chances. And not gonna lie, that's a pretty sweet victory lap.
By nation, Spain leads the all-time table with 20 titles, fueled by Real Madrid and Barcelona. England is next with 15, and interestingly, England has the most different winning clubs at 6. Italy follows with 12, Germany has 8, the Netherlands 6, and Portugal 4. It shows both depth and dynasties at work.
Quick bite of format trivia. Penalty shootouts and the expanded away goals rule arrived in 1970-71, cutting out replays and coin tosses. That standardized progressions and gave scoring away from home extra strategy weight in two-legged ties. Small rule, big ripple.
And a tiny historical gem. In the very first season, one FC Saarbrücken played as representatives of the Saar Protectorate, separate from West Germany. It's a snapshot of post-war Europe where even the map and the competition lineup reflected politics in motion.
Here's a question that's a little unresolved. In 1895, English champions Sunderland played Scottish champions Heart of Midlothian, and people later nicknamed it the World Championship. Some folks call it a spiritual precursor to the European Cup. I kind of love the idea. Champions crossing borders to settle bragging rights, even if it wasn't official.
I get the romance, for real. But I lean toward the historian view. Great exhibition, not an organized continental tournament. It's like a pilot episode before a series gets picked up. Important energy, but not the show yet.
Why does the label matter so much, though? If it inspired the appetite for champions meeting champions, doesn't that spirit count?
It counts emotionally. Structurally, the true turning point is when UEFA institutionalized it. The earlier matches and cups, Challenge Cup, Metropa, Latin Cup, each gave us a building block. But the European Cup in 1955 is where the architecture becomes a house you can live in season after season.
That's a solid point. Maybe we can say the 1895 game is a spark, but the 1955 launch is the fire. Without the spark, the fire might still happen, but the spark makes for a better story.
Speaking of stories, the anthem is a character of its own. Tony Britton adapted Handel's Zadok the Priest in 1992, recorded by the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra with the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. The multilingual lyrics and those Baroque crescendos give you instant ceremony. It's branding you can hear.
And the pre-match ritual, teams lining up while the starball flag ripples at center. That choreography is the same whether you're in Madrid, Manchester, or Milan. Broadcasters tee the whole night around that sequence. And yeah, it hits different every time.
All right, counterfactual time. What if UEFA had never allowed multiple entrants per country from 1997-98? Would we have seen more finalists from outside the Big Five leagues?
I think so. If only champions got in or access stayed tighter, clubs like Ajax or Porto might have had more frequent shots instead of being crowded out by second, third, fourth-placed powerhouses from the biggest leagues. The coefficient snowball might have rolled slower.
We might also see different transfer patterns. If the path to Europe's top stage was a little more open for champions of smaller leagues, maybe more top prospects would stay 1 or 2 years longer at those clubs, or those clubs would structure budgets around steady European access. Culture-wise, it could feel more like a rotating spotlight.
On the flip side, fewer giants meeting early could mean fewer blockbuster clashes during the season. The modern format gives us heavyweight collisions that, anchor midweek TV worldwide. That visibility is a big reason the competition became the most watched club tournament on the planet.
So maybe the trade-off is between broader geographic diversity at the very top versus consistent, high-profile showdowns that scale globally. Real talk, both have appeal. It's a question of which value you want to emphasize.
And UEFA's latest tweaks, the 36-team league phase, 8 different opponents, and those European performance spots try to split the difference. More cross-border meetings, a big knockout bracket, and dynamic access that rewards a country's hot streak one season to the next. We'll see how that balance plays out over time.
Stay curious and keep exploring.
And remember, there's always more to learn. Until next time.